What's up, everyone? Joe Gray here today with another AMA warm-up where I get to talk to our upcoming AMA guests. Today I'm joined by Greg from Concept 2. Greg, what's up, dude?
Yeah. Hey, what's up with you? And glad to be here.
Yeah, it's Friday. The weather has flip-flopped about four times this week in California. I think that's spring. It was AC weather at the beginning of the week with shorts and t-shirts, and then now I'm back to long sleeves, sweatshirt and pants and stuff. And considering we almost turned, I think we turned on the heater yesterday in the garage. So uh,
The same here in Vermont. It snowed. The ski areas are still open, but yet it might be 70 tomorrow. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
fun stuff. So always a fun one for those of us who lift in our garage, trying to figure out what the heck we're supposed to wear and how to prep and everything like that. But
Yeah.
yeah. So, all right, man. So we are gonna jump right in, and you tell me who are you and why you're here.
So I'm Greg Hammond. I work for Concept 2, kind of the global leader in all things rowing specifically, but also, global leader in things like, the rowing machine that people know and uh, carbon fiber oars for racing, which people might not know. Our ski erg, which we invented, that's getting more and more popular every day. And then we have a bike erg and recently a strength erg. So erg being short for ergometer, we're all things ergometer.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen quite a few people who, when they've picked up the Ski Erg and used it, especially in a home gym space, they go, "This is fantastic because it takes up such little space, and you got whole body cardio, conditioning, everything all in one." And so, a lot of wins on that one for sure in the home
It's
space.
funny, we kind of messed up calling it a ski erg because it is such great for general conditioning. And actually, for a long time, we sold more to grapplers and mixed martial arts guys than we did skiers
Ah,
because they could put them around the inside of the wrestling room. They could do their cardio and then get on the mat, and it only took up about a foot or two off the wall.
yeah,
Um, to this day, there's people that can't don't know it's called a ski erg. They call it a skirg or something else because they just don't know quite what it is. But it was
Scourge.
born out of the sport of Nordic skiing.
Okay, yeah, because it's supposed to kind of be like cross country kind of going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. We call it a skier. Most of the United States think alpine skiing or downhill skiing, and they're like,
Yeah,
"How is this going to help me?"
yeah,
But yeah, if you think of double poling to
yeah,
propel yourself on snow, it actually isn't an arm movement. It's a more total body. If you do it correctly, it's more
sure,
of a crunch, more of a core to extremity type movement,
sure.
which translates to, of course, almost every sport. So
Yeah, it's like rowing in general. So me and my wife went to Arizona. Oh, it's been like six something years ago, and we did a like a white rod water. That's probably not the right term. Just like a very gentle river, like kind of
yeah.
rafting type thing, guided tour with a bunch of people, and they had this like competition where they were gonna have the three different boats that were there, like all race to one spot at one time, and so everyone turns around and looks at me and goes, "You're in the front." And I'm like, okay, sure. Never rode before or whatever, but I'm like, but I know how the body works. I know how to generate force. I know that, like you said, this is not a just use my arm thing, right? I got to get everything, included in this process. And I ended up rowing so hard, we were like steering right kind of thing because the
Yeah.
person on the left front of me wasn't keeping up. And I'm like, I don't know that that's working. So, but yeah, so yeah,
We got that a
definitely.
lot with the rowing machine. People think of like, they go to their camp and they have a rowboat that has a fixed seat. Seat doesn't
Yeah,
move. And that is, a lot of upper body and
yeah,
stuff. But when rowing, like on the row erg, is done correctly, it's like sculling, like you may have seen like on the Head of the Charles or, maybe Oxford Blues, that old movie, where
yeah,
you're actually, if you do it right, rowing is primarily quad and
yeah,
core.
yeah.
If you do it right, your arms shouldn't get tired.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Yeah, I have on Sundays I have a small group of my daughter's like soccer and basketball team come over. So my daughter's 7, she'll turn 8 actually tomorrow. And when they hop on the rower, that's you can see the ones who know how to incorporate lower body into upper body versus the ones who are just doing this thing. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a difference. And so especially like for basketball and stuff, I end up using that and a few other exercises as like a teaching tool. Like, hey, you can't hit the rim. Well, it's because you're trying to shoot the ball just with your shoulder, right? Like that's all you're putting into it. You got to get the full, right? Like leg, everything up. You got to transfer that power from the ground all the way into your hand to be able to make that shot. And so the rower definitely helps with that one. So,
Yeah, it does, it all translates in there, and even with Olympic lifting and rowing, there's a lot of similarities of kind of that power application and the wave of contraction as it goes through the body, stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
So,
nice. All right, man. So let's go on to number two. So tell me about your lifting and kind of fitness process in your life. So you, Concept Two as a company, that kind of thing.
so I actually started lifting weights pretty early, me personally, about eighth grade. Before that, I did sports where my dad gave me the, the old DP weight set with the concrete plates. So, I mean, I knew at a young age, my parents kind of encouraged it, but didn't push me. But I knew I liked lifting weights. And so we had one Gold's Gym for the whole state of Vermont. And luckily it was close enough to my house that in eighth grade, I was just old enough that I could go in there and I kind of was watching bodybuilders. I didn't
Hmm.
know anything. They were really good about, kind of helping out younger guys that were in there and stuff like that. I just knew I liked the feeling of leaving the gym kind of wasted with
Yeah.
sore muscles and that. And of course, in eighth grade, you want to look good too because you're looking for chicks and
Uh-huh.
all that stuff. And so it was good. But I was also doing sports like I started out in soccer, but then started running cross country and racing cross country, where my coaches at the time were actually trying to discourage me from lifting weights because they didn't know, back in
Yeah.
this would have been late 80s, early 90s, and they didn't quite understand that, having strong muscles could help you in endurance sports.
Yep.
Um, which thank God that's changed. But even when I got to college and I was playing rugby, which it helped me. So both the cardio and the strength helped me for that sport, which was nice. I got a degree in health science and started a corporate wellness business in Maine. And I was given a budget to train people on site at a paper mill. And I knew of Concept Two because I was from the state of Vermont. And at the time, the machine was $725 a machine. And so I bought a bunch of those and started getting people fit. And anything that was left over in the budget, I could keep for other things. And so essentially started a rowing club at a paper mill to get people fit, and it worked and people lost weight. But I didn't really like people. I like people. I didn't like training people who weren't motivated.
Yeah.
And in a situation like that, they worked 12-hour shifts, but if they were injured, they only worked 8-hour shifts. So there
Uh,
was no, they weren't really motivated to get better. And I wanted to work with people who were motivated. So
yeah.
I actually ended up coming back and working for Concept Two because I had some friends that already worked here. And I've been here 28 years. I never looked back once I got here. And luckily, I can do the things I like. We were encouraged to work out here. I still play all my sports. I get to work with elite athletes and people working out in their basements. Both, I kind of the whole gamut, which is nice.
It's awesome. Yeah, the I talked to Trueform a couple of months back, and we
Yeah,
had a good conversation about the discussion of running, lifting, and why it should not be one or the other, but probably a little bit of both kind of thing.
yeah,
And it's interesting. My daughter does Ninja Warrior
yeah.
training, right? Swinging and various things. And her coach said, "Oh yeah, you don't need to lift weights for that because it doesn't make a difference." And and I've never lost like respect for a coach so immediately
Yeah.
when he said that. We laughed and I looked at my daughter. I'm like, "You're gonna keep lifting weights. Don't worry about it." And talked to my mom and a couple of people, and they're like, "What? Why is he wrong?" And I'm like, "Well, did being stronger ever hurt you in doing anything?" Like anything in your life you've ever, oh, I was too strong to pick up that pencil or something or whatever, like that's never been a problem, right? And so I'm like, and last time I checked, they need a lot of strength to hang from things and jump off stuff and run faster and all this other stuff. I go, it just doesn't make any sense to not get stronger for sports and being a human being. So,
I love that line. I use it all the time. Like no one's complained about being too strong.
yeah,
It's never been a problem. And especially when you look at longevity, the muscle we put on at a younger age is going to help us later on. It's like
yeah,
putting money in the bank.
yeah,
It's like start as soon as you can
yeah,
and learn, like you're talking about how to learn to do it right at a young age. I feel for people who are 50 and just starting to lift weights because
yeah,
what's normal to us is new to them and intimidating. Whereas
yeah,
a kid, nothing's intimidating for a kid,
yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, and that coordination aspect comes so much faster the younger you are. Yeah, huge benefit to starting early for sure. Even if for some reason they're like lifting isn't my thing, I want to do yoga or Pilates or something or whatever, right? Like I still just I look at it, I'm like, you got to do something strength based that challenges your muscles somehow, right?
yeah.
Like yeah. So, all right. Number three. What's your guys' experience with the home gym community? So you mentioned a little bit being able to work with elite athletes, but also people lifting in their basement and stuff like that.
So it's a little known fact, people see our equipment in every gym, every CrossFit affiliate, all this stuff. Our biggest sales are home gyms, and they always have been. Um, we love the fact that for every pro athlete that's there, there's thousands of people in their basement grinding away on our equipment. The other nice thing with our equipment is because I follow a lot of the home gym forums and things like that, and I love the fact that I got a 20-year-old Concept 2 from my dad and I'm still using it. And
Yeah,
so a lot of our equipment, it's on the third generation and and all they've done is replace the seat rollers,
yeah,
and probably didn't even need to. So we have a lot of respect for people training at home. I'd say a good, probably a third of everybody here at Concept 2 not only has a beautiful gym here, but we have our own home gym. I've got my basement gym that I've been slowly adding to for the last 20 something years. I actually bought the old dumbbells from my college when they got new ones. It's like, I take a lot of pride in just, if you always have stuff at home, your excuse to not work out is taken away.
yeah,
So even if you have a great membership at a gym and you love working out with your friends, that's awesome. But for that day that you get home late from work, you can't go to the gym, and you go down and you see the bench and you see the rower and you see some dumbbells and you're like, all right, I'm just going to do this,
yeah,
check the box.
yeah.
So,
I'm sure you know street parking, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So hers is always more than nothing, right?
Yeah.
And it's perfect, right? For most general pop people, especially, I tell my wife sometimes, she's like, I'm not really like this weekend. So her parents are coming into town this afternoon. We got a birthday party tomorrow. Sunday, my daughter's got football and a couple of different things, and then people will be leaving town or whatever. And she's like, how am I going to fit my workouts in and whatever? And I go, you just find something, right? Like it doesn't have to be your full like 45-minute long workout. I go, I wrote you something that takes you 5 minutes, right? It's, some medicine ball stuff and some jumps and whatever things. And I go, that's enough for this weekend, right? Don't overload yourself. And then you come back the following weekend and we get back to your normal routine, right? And so if I like same thing, even when I went to a commercial gym, I think I was like a pair of 30-pound dumbbells, 15-pound medicine ball, some bands, a couple of things like that, because it was, hey, I'm traveling, what can I take with me? Hey, I woke up weird today. I'm gonna feel better if I move a little bit instead of nothing at all, right? It's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, it's whatever, right? And I want to just keep the rhythm, moving, right? So yeah, little stuff can make a huge difference at home, whether you're trying to build out. So now my gym's absurd, but Anywhere in between will help you get something done for sure.
With our equipment too, with the ergs, it's nice is like I tell people the Tabata protocol, it's 4 minutes. If you
Yeah.
do it right, that you are done in four
It's
minutes. And when I say
deadly.
done,
Yeah.
you're crawling back up out of the basement in four
Yeah.
minutes. So yeah, and the other thing I like to tell people is I have a lot of friends that are high priced trainers and they get a lot of money to train people. And I said, you want to know the real secret? It's consistency. You can have the best program in the world, but if you
Yeah.
just do something every single day, you're going to get to the same place that those guys are going to get to. Just might take a little longer,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
So
Yeah. The what is it? It's I think I've seen some coaches and stuff before go like it's like 90% of your gains and strength and muscle and all that different stuff comes from literally just showing up, working hard consistently, right?
yeah,
Without even knowing like, oh, if I put my elbow over my head or behind me or whatever, like any of that different stuff, right? Things
right.
that like I nerd out on a regular basis, right? I just did a whole YouTube series on cable attachments and was like talking about anatomy of the biceps and the triceps and the back and whatever, and oh, you use your pinky and this activates that kind of like for most people none of that matters, right?
Yeah,
And it's
right.
like,
Yeah. Get to a certain level and then you can worry about if you
yeah,
turn out at the top to
yep,
get a
yep,
peek on your bicep. Yeah.
yep, yep, yep. Yeah. So yeah, little bit consistency is way more important than 99% of the other stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, man. So this one's for you guys specifically. So a little bit of what we just talked about earlier. Why should everybody train like an athlete? Meaning that we have a combination of some strength, some cardio, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on people's specific goals. And if you are training for a specific sport specificity and working with coaches, that's great. For the rest of the world who maybe didn't make it pro and they want to live to be 80 and actually be able to run and move and pick things up when they're 80, they got to look at certain things. And one is going to be muscle density and muscular endurance, and then the ability to go through a range of motion. So, that's where I think we kind of shine. You know, you look at the rowing stroke, everything flexes from your ankles to your shoulders and scapula in that wave of contraction. So you've got mobility, you've got power application, you've got cardio. Same with the skier. You know, the skier and the rower are very similar, just in opposing movements. You know, one is a hip closing, one is a hip opening. So personally, I like the ski erg better because I don't like to sit for my workouts, but there are
Yeah.
people who think I'm nuts that I am on the ski erg as much as I am. The bike fits a person. Yes, it's only half the body, but it's also the one when you don't feel like working out. It seems more accessible. I'll start warming up on the
Uh,
bike. Next thing you know, they're doing interval sprints
yeah.
on it. And then now with the strength erg, give you a little bit of background. So we're a family-owned company. The founders who Olympic rowers, high-level rowers, they're our lead engineers. They're in their 70s, and they've checked all the boxes in fitness, except they realize they're not going to throw down with weights like they used to. So they're like, all right, well,
Sure.
let's fill that void and figure out how we can do strength in a way that's going to get us what our body needs to like you said, to be able to pick things up and
Yeah.
and be able to move. And so that's where the fourth erg came out, and it was to address strength, which everyone knows us as a cardio company, but we're also very aware of what it takes to be to achieve your goals as far as getting older and doing what you want to do. And so not everybody has room for, like you and I, with the squat rack and 1,000 pounds of bumper plates and dumbbells. So if you have a rowing machine or a skier or a bike and a strength erg, it's going to take up maybe 5 feet by 5 feet in your house, and you can check all the boxes and be done in a relatively short amount of time, so you can go live your life and do the fun things that we do outside of working out.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I've seen a couple of guys with the strength erg, and they even as lifters have said like I have found an application for this for a number of ways, right? They've modified it to do chest pressing stuff versus rowing things versus, leg press stuff and different stuff. But especially going, look, if you were if you were trying to train Gen Pop, right? If your mom came over or your uncle or your something, right? They go, this is so easy, right? You don't have to teach, like when I'm like, the hardest thing in the world is to teach someone how to deadlift. Like I
Yeah.
swear that's the hardest one, right? That hip hinge movement is so difficult. Um, but I can teach them how to like do a seated row or a curl or something like that. So with that machine, you now have like everything in one without, like you said, having to have a full cable stack and different things and whatever. And so, yeah, I totally see the application for anyone that isn't like me kind of thing. So,
I also kind of looked at too is like you look at the blue zones of it, what's important, and all the doctors are saying, it's quad strength is a good predictor and grip strength.
yeah,
So with our machine, we have that, and like you are teaching teaching the deadlift. I'm that way
yeah,
with teaching someone how to squat properly with a barbell.
yeah,
You know, even if they're a very fit, strong, say 19-year-old, if they don't move well, I'd rather put them on a leg press than
yeah,
put them in a squat rack.
yeah.
Um, because the
They
next thing,
bend over weird and yeah,
yeah, and then also too, just finding what weights to start them with and progressions and stuff. Whereas the strength third, it matches your output with
yeah,
a concentric only. So
yeah,
we tried to make a balance of how do we get somebody stronger without making them have incredible DOMs the next day and
yeah,
soreness. They can do it almost every day and still get the same results and have it be safe,
yeah,
as safe as working out can be,
yeah.
so.
Without giving away all your secrets, is it similar to like how a flywheel works?
No, oh no, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a secret. It's based off the same technology we've
Okay.
had, except we can generate over 1,000 pounds of resistance if someone was strong enough to do
Sure.
that. So.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah. That was one of the pieces that kind of I've seen some of the guys I work with talk about flywheels. I had one for a while in my space. Is just that you don't have it's much easier to find the working weight, like you're saying with the squat, right? Because there isn't one, right? It just adapts. It just is, right? So you don't have to sit there and go, oh, okay, you row 45 and you row 10 and you row 120. Let me pull plates or change the pin or whatever. It's
Yeah.
just we're doing rows right now. Do rows. And
And
so, yeah,
yeah, I think you'd like it too, and we'd love to get you on a tryout. So muscular endurance, that's the other thing too. Like, if you're going to go out and work in the yard and you don't
yeah,
know what you're going to be doing that day, you just know you'll probably be out there for a long time. At what point do your muscles get weak and you're not as good as when you first started? So
sure.
muscular endurance is just, it's important for athletes. It's important for people in
Yep.
just general life. And I know even for myself, when I set it for time and I'm doing as many reps as I can, but every rep I'm seeing how much force I'm doing,
Mm,
I can show you exactly where my muscular endurance falls off.
sure.
Say a leg press, I'll be like 375, 375, 375. I get to like rep 20 and all of a sudden it's 225, then it's 250, then it's,
Yeah.
175. And I'm like, okay, so because it also stores the information, I start to ask myself, so should I be working on max force or should I be looking at lengthening my muscular endurance? What's going
Yeah.
to suit my needs the best? And then you can adjust your workouts to be appropriate for that. So
Interesting. Very
yeah.
cool. That's cool. I like it. All right, man. Let's wrap it up. So give me one reason why people should be excited about your upcoming AMA.
Well, one reason is that our equipment's everywhere, and it's around the world, and so people, whether they've made the connection between the name Concept Two and our machines, there's probably a lot of questions they've had because they've seen it, they just don't know. We're pretty ubiquitous in the fitness market, so whether it is that they have that 30-year-old rowing machine that was given to them and they have a question about that machine specifically, or what machine is best for them, or they have a machine that might have a problem and they can ask questions about that, how to make it better or how to implement that specific machine into what their goals are for fitness.
Yeah.
So all of us here have been around a long time. We only have the 4 products. We're very, very knowledgeable in our products. We make them all here in Vermont. So I mean, no question would be something that we couldn't answer.
Cool.
So.
Nice. Is there any chance that people might see a giveaway of some kind?
Yeah, and we want people to engage. We want good questions, so everyone should kind of start thinking now and get on there. And yes, do have something planned.
Cool. Awesome. All right, everybody, that is the AMA warm-up with Greg from Concept 2. I will put details in the description for you to check out more on Concept 2, as well as the dates for the AMA itself, so you can come on over and ask them questions and maybe take home something sweet for your own gym. So that's it, Greg. Thanks, man. I enjoyed the chat.
Thank you, Joe.
See you, everybody.